Just a quick note before we get started, I wanted to let you know that at some points there will be some flashing lights in this vlog, just from signs, so if you're sensitive to that, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. My name is Keiko, and this week I'm going to be taking you on my 48-hour weekend trip to Las Vegas. And we're going to see how much knitting I can get done during that 48 hours. So I'm going to be knitting the Tiny Tassels shawl, and that's by Karin Fernandes. The yarn I'm going to be using is Sewrella Enchanted for the main color, and I haven't decided what I'll be using for the tassels. I first cast on when I was in the airport, and then on the plane ride I got a few rows done, and it's only about like just over an hour, between an hour and a half from LAX to Las Vegas, so not too bad. For this trip I'm in Vegas because one of my childhood friends is getting married, so her wedding is on Saturday, so I flew out Friday afternoon and I'm staying in the Flamingo Hotel. I did book a room to have a view of the strip because the Flamingo is kind of like diagonally across the street from the Bellagio, and the Bellagio has the wonderful water show. So I was really excited to kind of upgrade my room to a strip view so that way I could enjoy the water show, and I was able to see like 5 or 6 water shows. They run between every like 30 minutes, it seems like, in the evenings, so I'm really happy that I was able to make time to sit and knit and watch the show, and yeah. So Friday night started off, apparently Giada's restaurant is like right next door to the Flamingo, so I wandered over there and got the pappardelle pasta, which was with a braised pork and a tomato sauce with some braised kale too, and I got a little glass of champagne, which was nice. And because I was a solo diner, they had me sit at the bar, so I did a little knitting, and it was really cool because they had a really nice oyster bar, raw bar kind of set up in the front, and then like a bunch of hand rolled pastas hanging and drying. So yeah, I was just really excited that night to go see the Chihuly, and then I saw a sign for a Michael Mina restaurant, which I've always wanted to kind of try his restaurants before. And then to get to the restaurant, you walk through Bellagio's conservatory, which was crazy, and so many different kinds of flowers. I just thought that that was really cool to kind of walk through to get to the restaurant. So at the restaurant, I just got a beverage because nothing was really quite standing out to me, and I also didn't want to be late to the show. And of course I got some knitting done at the bar too. After the restaurant, I walked over to O, which is again also in the Bellagio, and I was going to the 9:30 show, so I think it got done just after 11, which was really late for me. So the fact that I got my 2 must-do things done right away, which was to see the Chihuly installment in the Bellagio and also see Cirque du Soleil's O, was great. It was really cool to see O because I take aerial classes, and so I feel like I just had such an appreciation and a little bit of an understanding of like what goes into aerial arts, and yeah, I was just So amazing. I would definitely recommend, if you're ever in Vegas, to go see O or any Cirque du Soleil show, honestly. So Saturday morning started bright and early. I obviously had to go see the live flamingos in the flamingo habitat. And they had so many other different kinds of birds and just like aquatic life and stuff. Like there was koi fish, and I also saw a little turtle hanging out, and just many kinds of ducks and a pelican. And I really enjoyed that. That was a great way to start my morning. Seeing cute little birds, and then also just kind of walking around leisurely and knitting. I had a really late night the night before, but I was just so excited to get up and start my morning by doing this little walkthrough. Very relaxing. I loved seeing the little pelican trying to preen its feathers. It's so cute with such a big beak. Don't know how they do it. And then the next thing on my to-do list for Saturday morning was to go and hang out by a pool. I believe it was like already 75, between 75 and 80 degrees out. I mean, just with the sun blaring down on me, it felt hotter. So I got a frozen, I believe it was a strawberry daiquiri drink. I don't know. I just kind of wanted like a slushy thing to cool down with. And yeah, just knit by the pool. It was really fun, surprisingly. And then the view was also really cool because the big Ferris wheel was like in my line of sight. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, so I'm not usually much of a pool goer, but honestly, this was a great experience, and I would definitely be excited to go to another pool and just hang out and knit. And yeah, I was surprised at how good of a time I did have with this little experience. And then later that day was my friend's wedding, and out of respect for her, I'll just post a picture of myself in my dress and all done up. It was a very fun wedding, very fun night. And somehow I was able to squeeze in a second Cirque du Soleil show, so I decided to see Mystère, which was also really amazing. Would also highly recommend that show. Incredible work they do. And then, so that show was at Treasure Island, which is like between 3/4 of a mile and a mile away from the Flamingo. And so I was walking back, but just kind of enjoying my walk. So I walked through the Venetian, which has the gondolas. I mean, honestly, walking through all the hotels and seeing all of their stuff and like design styles is really a treat, and I would recommend that if you're ever in Vegas too, just walking through the lobbies at least and seeing all the different styles. And then Sunday morning came around, and I had my first Dunkin' Donuts coffee, which was exciting. Definitely way too sweet for my taste, but it was a fun little treat and experience for me. And it's funny, at the beginning here, my flight is on time, and I'm just living my best life, knitting in the airport, waiting for my airplane. And then a little bit later, it gets delayed like 20 minutes, no big deal. And then a little bit later, it gets delayed like an hour. Okay. And when it was all said and done, my flight was delayed 5 hours, which is funny because if I had driven, I could have driven between Vegas and LA in that time frame. But, you know, I'm like, I don't want to drive. I'll just take a plane, and then it'll be like an hour. And that'll be great. But yeah, I mean, it's not often where I can have like 5 hours of just knitting time for myself and not having to like get up and do stuff every 2 minutes or anything. So I'm just gonna take that experience and just be excited that I got to knit for 5 hours without any distractions. But even before all of this airport knitting, I was surprised at how much I did get done just from, you know, hanging out at the pool and knitting and stuff. And when the trip was all said and done, the skein was 100 grams roughly. The weight of the yarn when I got home was 61 grams. So in total, on my little weekend trip, I was able to knit 39 grams of yarn, and honestly, I call that a big success for me. So, I hope you enjoyed this little vlog. I know it's very different from my normal knitting vlogs, but I enjoyed like kind of filming and putting it all together. So I hope you enjoyed it too, and if you did, would love a like and subscribe to see more knitting vlog content. In October, I will be starting the West Knits MCAL, which I'm really looking forward to. And then the other vlog series I currently have going on is I'm finishing up Imagine Landscapes, their mystery gnome for September. So, if any of that sounds like something you're interested in, please subscribe. And yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next vlog.